Hi, welcome back to Siskiyou Spotlight, Basketball Down Under. We have with us here on the COS campus and in the county this week the Camberwell Grammar School freshmen, junior varsity and varsity basketball teams playing in the tournament here. And I have with me as my guest in the studio Steve Blackley, who is their coach. And right now we're going to talk a bit with Andrew Harms, who's the assistant coach, and then we have Jamie Watson, who's the director of sports at that school, coming up before we close. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Tell me a little bit. I understand you have kind of an interesting background in the sport as a player. Can you tell us for a minute or so? What's your...
Yeah, no, I've played everywhere. So I played college here at Metro State in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver?
And had a really, really good time. And then played a little bit overseas. I played in China, played in Europe, played in Qatar for a little bit. So so I've been around to a few places, which is probably the great thing about basketball, is it opens up the chance to travel and play. So that's been a big plus for me.
Nice, nice. And how is it to work with Steve?
Really bad.
Really bad?
Yeah, it's terrible. He's the bad cop and I'm the good cop.
Oh,
so,
that's how you work in, huh? Is that how you work together?
It
is,
So I'm the popular one and he's the unpopular one with the group. So. No, he's been great. I've loved working with Steve. It's a strange situation because I grew up watching Steve play. So
interesting.
Yeah, so he played at my club and he's a little bit older than me. And I grew up watching him play, so I had a lot of respect for him as a player. And then, you know, he stayed involved in the game and happened to be around the club, and this opportunity presented itself, and I jumped at it to work with Steve and learn a whole lot from Steve. So, you know, it's been a really good relationship, and hopefully it continues into the future.
Very nice. And you have it sounds like you have a pretty talented assistant coach here.
We do. And Andrew's dad back home coached at a pretty high level as well. So, I mean, I've probably known Andrew, like you said, from a young age, but I've known his dad. We're at the same club for quite a while. So, and I think that always helps when your dad's involved in the sport as a coach or at a pretty high level, that you kind of have those basketball smarts. And you know, the coach, they often say the coach's sons, and they kind of make good coaches themselves because they're around it all the time, and it's obviously rubbed off on Andrew as well. So.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if it even informs the parenting style in some way. But we won't go there.
No, let's not go there at all.
Let's not go there at all, no. So how did you decide to come here in this tournament? How did that decision get made?
Well,
I know you wanted to visit the States.
Yep, wanted to visit the States. When I first got appointed for the position about 18 months ago at Camberwell, in my interview I'd mentioned to our director of sport that it was something I wanted to get up and running, that I've been involved in probably 6 tours to America before, and Camberwell had never done anything like that. So we were looking at trying to get that going, and we waited till we finished our first year, and then we basically just sent out a questionnaire to all the different players to see what sort of response we'd get. We thought maybe we'd get enough people that might want to form maybe one team and get a group of 15 people, and we had an unbelievable response, and we're able to bring over a group of 38 people, so we were able to bring all 3 teams. So it was actually pretty quick. It was the parents got behind it really, really well, and you know, within probably a month, you know, we'd put deposits down and we were booked, ready to go. So it happened really quickly.
We didn't mention bears or mountain lions either in this. So
no cougars.
I know if
bears.
I found out about that, I probably would have given it a miss. So yeah, we kept that under the table.
Do you feel confident now that you're here?
Yeah, I do. I think if I just stay indoors, I'm fine. So it should be good.
Yeah, we did a tour of the campus yesterday, and
did Jan
Keane gave us a tour, and we went into one of the rooms in there, and there was a stuffed bear and a mountain lion and all sorts of things. And then a couple of our teachers had gone for a run that morning, so I'm not sure if they went running this morning after seeing that. So,
you know, I have a very small dog, and where the house we live in now is right at the edge of the Sacramento River, and it's got Shasta Forest behind it. And at night, we let the dog out in the front of the house with the light on, just so that nothing comes out of the shadows.
That's a tough dog.
Yeah.
That's a tough dog. Yeah.
Anyway, so a little bit more about this, how you work together. I saw you both out on the floor yesterday with the boys. Is it really a good cop, bad cop kind of thing, or?
No, I think both really good cops. Yeah, I think the good thing I like working with Steve, and the real positive is he's open to new ideas, and he's really good about consistently, asking me my opinion and vice versa. And I think that's the best way to go about it. And I think he consistently is trying to evolve as a coach, and I know I am at an early stage in my coaching career. So, he's the head coach for the seniors, and I handle a lot of the juniors. So, I think it's a really good working relationship, because I think Steve's really open to new ideas and a really good communicator. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Fabulous. Let's take a look at. We have another interview segment with a couple more of your players here. That was a lot of fun to talk to them. I wish I'd gotten all of them. 18 days. That's a big chunk of time. And you have 7 games to play?
Yeah, 7 games.
You feeling up for it?
Yeah, up for it.
Up for it for sure?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good luck. Moment, actually, when that,
so you're the coach's
that
son?
ball goes
And your
right
name
into the
is
net. I think we have double audio here.
Nice.
There we go. Anyway, great moment. Nice to see your your players on video there.
Yeah, they were pretty excited about seeing the cameras there, and we just don't get that exposure back home. Basketball, I think basketball is the second most popular sport participation-wise, but as far as at the higher end, we don't get that sort of attention. So it's kind of AFL football or cricket. So when we come over here and get that sort of attention, the kids loved it, playing in front of good crowds and that sort of thing. So
nice, good. Andrew, I'm going to thank you for talking with us a little bit here. I'm going to ask Jamie to come sit down so that we can hear a little bit from him too, and have a good rest of your trip. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Watson.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And you're the director of sports. Kind of oversee the whole sports program at Camberwell Grammar.
Yeah, we have 23 different sports at our school, so it's a big program. We look at coaches, external coaches, head coaches, and it takes up a lot of the time, definitely.
I think that I know this. By the way, Camberwell Grammar School is on the outskirts of Melbourne.
Yes.
Am I correct?
About 10 minutes from the main city.
I realized last night, I don't even, where are they? We have to place you in space. Every student plays a sport at your school, is that correct?
Every student has to play 2 sports.
Wow.
One in the winter and one in the summer. And there's an optional spring sport, which includes athletics, so your track, and water polo.
Water polo, fabulous. Is it a boys' school or co-ed?
Boys' school.
It is a boys' school. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And how do they? That's interesting. We've in this country, you're probably aware, and we won't get into the historical perspective, but we're kind of up and down with sports in the high school and grammar school level here. Back with years and years ago, John Kennedy made fitness and sports in schools really a feature and a focus. And I think it's shifted somewhat since then. Do you think that it enhances the boys' academic performance, or does it round them more as individuals? What do you think is the impact? Both of you.
From what I see, I've only got my hands on the basketball side of things, but we have 22 basketball teams, I think, at Camberwell Grammar, and that ranges from kids in the varsity team all the way down to kids that have never touched a basketball before, and I think it's great. That's really good for the school spirit. They're all involved. Every single kid is involved in a team. I think the team aspect's really good for the classroom, and we've got the freshmen, JVs and varsities that all mix together, and I think that side of things is fantastic. And that happens in every sport. So, whereas a lot of the high schools over here, you have your basketball team. If you don't make the basketball team, there's no opportunity. Whereas we have 22 teams. If you want to play basketball, you're in a basketball team. I think that's really important.
Very nice. It is, yeah.
I think there's studies being done too that show that it's not a kid within school that's participating in sport as well. is going to be just as successful as someone who's not involved in sport. So that thing that sport might be an add-on or something that's more pressure, then it's not really. And the studies have shown that kids doing sport are actually, end up being, quite okay with doing that extra work in training and so forth, as well as their study. Mm-hmm. So I think the Ducks, which is the top student in our school over the past few years, has also been the track captain or the cricket captain or the football captain. So, yeah, I think it's great for them, and I think it opens them up to seeing other people and working with other people outside of the classroom, and coaches such as Stephen, and they get to meet some great people and go on great tours like this.
They get to come to America sometimes.
So we have quite a few of our different sports go overseas. So this is the first basketball tour, but our soccer team and cricket teams and stuff have gone over to England and Europe. And
so there's a cultural aspect to it too, is what you're saying. Not only. So you mentioned team, just learning, understanding what it's like to be part of a team. I would think also having to win and having to lose. Yep. That's a good thing to learn. Everybody should learn. That's not non-academic, but yeah. And then also the cultural influence.
Sure.
What are some of the other sports that you offer?
Oh, the typical Australian sport, cricket, which is popular, and also Australian rules football. Mm-hmm. Soccer, which you call soccer as well, which the English call football, is very popular. Probably half the school involved in football would be, or soccer. And they're probably the main ones. Hockey's another one, field hockey, not ice hockey. We don't get much ice over there. And probably tennis, the other big one. Tennis. That would be popular.
So you can imagine Jamie's job with how many students? 1,300?
1,300 boys.
Students, and every student's got to play a sport. Being the director of sport there is a pretty big job.
That's an enormous
So we don't know how he does it. So
well, it's a great job. You get to come on tours like this. So
How long have you been doing that?
At this school 3 years, but at another school 5 years prior to that. A similar boys' school, just at the other side of town.
Did Steve have to work real hard to sell you on this tour, or were you pretty...
No, look, Steve's been great from the start in terms of when he had the interview. We had guys like Darryl McDonald, Mark Bradkey, fantastic names in Australian basketball, legends in fact, and Stephen outshone both of them, and he was the best candidate by far, and it speaks volumes of what he's done and in and around the basketball community, not just at our school, but he's taken our program so far, and now we're in America and enjoying that. So, no, he's been fantastic for our program.
Very nice.
So we're hoping the plan is that we've already discussed it on this tour, that we're going to look to try and do one every 3 years.
A tour every 3 years?
With the basketball program.
But we won't get to see you every 3 years here.
That's the plan.
The plan is to come back here.
Every 3 years.
To try and come back to the Manchester tournament every 3 years.
Wonderful.
And our freshman kids, I know we've got quite a few parents from the freshman team. They're pretty keen to come back again already. And it would be great for them. They'll come as freshmen and then maybe come back as varsity kids in 3 years' time. So they'll get to see the full spectrum.
Yes, they will.
So we hope our boys behave themselves, obviously, so that you invite us back.
Did you hear that, boys? Well, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. I know it took a chunk out of your day, and you're probably looking forward to getting out there and doing some sightseeing. And I hope to see you, and I hope to be sitting right here with you in 3 years' time. Tell me before we go, Steve and Jamie, what does your school motto say?
Spectum Erigendo.
Which means?
By our deeds we shall be known.
And you got to go with that, I think.
Correct.
Great thing. Thank you very much for joining us on Siskiyou Spotlight, Basketball Down Under. And a special thank you to Jenny Axman, the publisher of Mount Shasta area newspapers, for producing this show. And we'll see you next time.
If you're feeling down and hanging out in your recliner chair, sitting there at home all alone, losing its solitaire, your life is just passing you by. Wake up and turn off the TV. Get yourself dressed and come on out with me. Let's go to the gym.